Greetings, everyone. This is me again, Zahra Bazak, on this the contradictions in Surah Al Imran. So, uh, you see, I was just listening to Jiddu Krishnamurti on YouTube. The danger of our conditioning. So I've read his books in year 2000 earlier on in Karachi. Thank God I got them from a bookshop in Karachi. So here I see myself live. Okay, some of us are coming from heavy conditioning, and even after reading his books, it was a bit too late for me because I was this thing, right? What was I? In this madness attack and Bibi Fatma Zahra. And has come, the disciple once, telepathically distance help has come. So it was too late. And I struggled trying. And then thank God I met Muji Baba online. Years later, after year 2010, so like that. It's been difficult. There's my conditioning. I'm working on it. Trying also effortlessly to realize that I'm abundant, enough for myself. So there's a lot of bombardment. Although I did my research on Shia, Sunni Islam, it's still a lot of work to do. Like I didn't see the Quranites like now I see them. I didn't see the contradictions in the Quranites like now I see them. Right, so this also, please help me. Let's see if anyone would be like that to help me. I haven't yet found someone like that to help me. So, calling myself a truth seeker, meaning that's defining myself only because so the world is like this. You see, you have to define yourself, right? Otherwise left undefined, discovering myself. People want perfection, the religious people want perfection. Here is Salahuddin. Salam, very good afternoon to you, good madam. Salahuddin, alaikum assalam. A very good, very, very good afternoon to you too. Have a wonderful, hope you're having a wonderful time. Good, madam, sir. So we need perfection and we want perfection and we demand perfection. So if I make mistakes here, then I've seen the worldly people how they are. They will not come here, Child is defective, throw the child away. You are disabled. You are a burden on society, this. So these things have happened. I have known these things since a long time in my earlier on childhood also, where my teacher told me go to Darul Sakoon and see how the parents throw their children because they're defective. And then Sister Gertrude would take them. They just actually throw their children. So we want perfection. We can't see other people's weakness. We can't even see our own weakness. We can't even see our children's weakness. We somehow disgusted by it or weaknesses of others. So I don't think many people will come here. Salahuddin, sir, yesterday, I found a contradiction in this ayat, Al Imran, verse 39, I think. Oh God, don't tell me I've forgotten it. So, Al Imran, verse 39, it says that Hazrat Yahya was chaste. This means it's a part of monasticism which Hazrat Yahya practiced, meaning staying away from women altogether. Even your translators, some of them say this in brackets, putting it in brackets. And then we have this Surah Hadid, ayat 27, against the Christians, saying that they, about this Surah Hadid, ayat 27, they invented monasticism. They practiced and innovated monasticism. We did not prescribe it for them, Allah says, except seeking the approval of Allah. Right? So you can seek the approval of Allah by whatever Allah has said here, that in this Islam, mingle with the society, balance, keep a balance, and all this. But there is a contradiction here. So you have been following me for a long time, right? Do you see the contradiction or not, brother, sir? Now, what kind of monasticism? Seeking the pleasure of Allah or the approval of Allah? Some Muslims still come here. When I give them show them Surah Tahrim ayat 1, they say Prophet Muhammad was human after all. He made mistakes like the Sunnis believe. So they give me the part of the Sunni belief on Prophet Muhammad being human and prone to mistakes. But in this, where he can be prone to mistake, sorry, that was very quick. What are these verses about? Well, oh yes, it was quick. I'll go still with you. This verse, verse Al Imran, I should be slow then. So I'll read it out, okay? So the angels called him while he was standing in prayer, meaning the angels called to Zachariah, Hazrat Zachariah, in the chamber. Indeed, Allah gives you good tidings of Yahya, John, Hazrat John, confirming a word from Allah, who will be honorable, abstaining, in brackets it says from women, and a prophet from among the righteous. Now, if you only read this ayat without giving thought to other ayats in the Quran, like on monasticism, you know what is monasticism, right? Those extreme cases where they become completely like monks. If they practice, abstinence from the world, right? Staying away from women, not indulging in society manners, things. So that ayat in Al Imran, Surah Al Imran verse, no, wait a minute. Sorry. That ayat in Surah Hadid 27 against the Christians. So now reading it out. Then we sent following their footsteps, i.e. traditions, our messengers, and followed them with Jesus, the son of Mary. I don't know. Then we sent following their footsteps. Okay, with Jesus and our messengers, and followed them with Jesus, the son of Mary, gave him the gospel, and we placed in the hearts of those who followed him compassion and mercy and monasticism. If you take Sahih International translation, but like it, the word by word says, but monasticism which they innovated, which the Christians who followed Jesus innovated. We did not prescribe it. Allah saying, we did not prescribe it for them, except seeking the approval of Allah. Now, Hazrat Yahya, we are told, and even Jesus, Isa al-Masih, practiced it so severely. So then I saw in Wikipedia that monasticism in Islam is not allowed. But both these prophets practice monasticism. If you then go to the meaning, if you want me to show you the meaning of monasticism, oh God, it's not opening Wikipedia, I've saved it. Monasticism. Oh God. Also, monasticism, also referred to as monachism, or monkhood, is a religious way of life in which one renounces worldly pursuits to devote oneself fully to spiritual work. Monastic life plays an important role in many Christian churches, especially in the Catholic, Orthodox, and Anglican traditions, as well as in other faiths such as Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. In other religions, monasticism is criticized and not practiced, as in Islam and Zoroastrianism, or plays a marginal role, very low role, as in modern Judaism. But now we are concerned about Islam and monasticism. So what is the place of monasticism in Islam? Do Christians believe Jesus and John were like that? Whether Christians believe it or not, what was Jesus and what was John practicing? What were they practicing? Look at the scripture, look at the history of Jesus and John, not what Christians believe. And even look at the history about Hazrat Yahya in Islam. The proper questioning. Salahuddin sir, I don't want to humiliate you, but sorry, I make mistakes too, very many. I just contradicted myself thinking I'm insincere. I was just watching it, observing yesterday. You may think I'm insincere, contradicting myself, right? And I also felt ashamed to see my behavior yesterday. Rebellious Satan goddess. You see, you don't even know how to ask the question. Do Christians believe Jesus and John were like that? But what were Jesus and John like? Can you tell me what were Jesus and John like? By questioning this way, your way, you know what you are leading me to say. Now, do Christians believe? Some Christians believe, and not most Christians. These Christians believe, but not those Christians. But what was Jesus and John like? What were they like? First, we have to see what kind of life they chose, or God chose for them. Since according to the religious thing, they are principles and all, they were practicing monasticism. I wouldn't say Jesus and John practiced such thing. You wouldn't say it, but what were they practicing? You see, you always come to personal things like, do Christians believe? Or I wouldn't say, why wouldn't you say that? Why wouldn't you say that? Because it is not said that they were in the Quran ayats directly to you. You have to be spoon fed, which you were, brainwashed. Then there's the danger of being brainwashed. If you just say, I believe in what the Quran was saying, but you're not even seeping through the Quranites to see there are discrepancies and all that. No, just you're harapping. You're just gulping, swallowing in what the Quranites are saying without giving even thought to it, which the Quranites, some of them say, reason, use your akal, use your brains, use your mind. Sometimes an ijtihad in some cases is necessary. It is a necessity. Not by just taking the Quran ayats on face value. You have to examine the Quran ayats closely. Then what is the use of that ayat from their stories in the Gospels? But a part of monasticism, John was, we are told here, word by word, John was chaste. He stayed chaste, meaning he didn't indulge in any sexual activity. According to the ayat, Surah Al Imran ayat, Baba, look at this. Brother, sir, sorry, I get, please. From the stories in the Gospels, I'm so sad today again. Really, the way you go about questioning. Very, very sad. From their stories in the Gospels about the history, here, about the Quranite, abstaining. Abstaining from what? Chaste, abstaining. How far did he go to please God? Seek the approval of God. Why can't you go that far like John did to seek the approval of God, to go to the extremities of the saints? We are told in our dua book. You want to take the moderate way, you take the moderate Sunni Muslim way or Shia Muslim way. But you can't take the extremities of the saints. You know, when we used to go to Amals for Ramadan, there are some Muslims also who tell us, Muslims, not only Shias, forget the Shias, moderation, balance in life between material and spirituality. We have moderation, right? But when I went to this Amal and I read this in English as the person on our what do you call them, Maulanas and Amal reciters, Mehfil Shah Khurasan, dua dua. So what I'm saying is that monasticism was not created, invented by the Christians. Some of the Christians, if you say, like Anglican Catholics. Hazrat Yahya practiced an extremity of, he was a monastic. He was monastic. Okay? Are you just, don't get, I don't want you to get, say okay because I'm explaining to you. Go home. I mean, you may be home, but like after this live stream, do your own research. I'm just giving you guidelines, right? Thank you for at least the feedback. Some people don't even give a feedback and go away. Duai Saghir, Duai Joshan Saghir or Joshan Kabir, which one was it? Joshan. There's one Joshan Kabir and one. I think the one we used to recite on Ramadan nights is Dua Joshan Saghir. Let me just see. Yeah, so we have here sharpen the hands of it against me, mixed as me, deadly poison. No, okay. No. Dua Joshan Kabir, I think then. The names of Allah. What is Allah? So, like this, like the extremities of the saints, like, can we not go into that extremity? Even a woman not get married? Oh Allah, verily I beseech you. Yeah, it's Dua Joshan Kabir on the nights of Ramadan. Oh, you glory on those special night of Ramadan. Extremities, it's a very long dua. Extremities of the saints. So it shouldn't be haram. It shouldn't be like, and Allah saying it's not prescribed in Al Imran, verse 39. We did not, no, sorry. Hadid, Surah Hadid. Sorry about this. I'm very, and we placed in the hearts of those who followed him compassion and mercy and monasticism. Sorry, this is not the right translation. And gave him the Injil and placed compassion and mercy in the hearts of his followers. As for monasticism, it was invented by them. Yani the followers of Jesus invented monasticism. We did not ordain it for them, Allah says. But they adopted it, but they took it to seek Allah's pleasure. Allah's pleasure. Then could not observe it as was due. Then could not observe it as was due. Now there are Catholic priests and all this. Some of them have been observing it as they invented it. But I'm telling you, they did not invent it. They just practiced the extreme case that Hazrat Yahya and Isa practiced. You don't have to get married. You can be exclusively devoted to Allah and be cut off with worldly things like some, like all this business and all this. Just take donations. And what your necessity is, need. Right? God will provide. You have abundance. Some people don't eat much. They have very simple food, live simple lives, don't get married, live a monk life. So they can do that. But here Allah is saying no. They invented it for themselves. Allah didn't want it for them. Allah had not prescribed it for them. But Hazrat Yahya was practicing it. You know what monasticism is. So please go deep into, only just even the definition, then go deeper into monasticism and see what parts of monasticism Hazrat Yahya was practicing. At least he abstained. Your own translators put in brackets, abstain. I've seen one translation, abstaining from sexual intercourse with women. And he didn't even have a wife. Or some translators put abstaining from women, meaning altogether, not even having a wife. That's a part of monasticism. You can find the story, yes, from the, like you said, from the stories in the Gospels. How can you say that they were not practicing monasticism? Did Jesus get married? Did Hazrat Yahya get married? Did they not abstain from women, even having wives altogether? Both of them. So it's wrong to say they invented it by them. It is invented by them. It is invented because they saw, when you say you saw your prophet, Yahya is called a prophet also in that ayat, right? Surah Al-Imran verse 39. Following such a thing, then some of them very, very sincere, very they can practice what Hazrat Yahya, following him by the letter. Thus, you can't say, God cannot say here, it was invented by them. They looked at the example of Hazrat Yahya and they started practicing, wholly, exclusively devoted to Allah. In this manner, seeking the pleasure of Allah. Imam Ali also said, he was involved in the world, but he said, I divorced the world thrice. I've divorced the world. But Yahya did it physically. Materialistically. I mean, you know what I mean? He did it spiritually also. Completely. Sincerely. Khulus, with khulus. Ikhlas. Surah Ikhlas. As for monasticism, it was invented by them. No. It was practiced by Jesus and before Jesus, Isa al-Masih, Yahya, the prophet also. Quran calls him the prophet. This is wrong. It is wrong to say it was invented by them. We did not ordain it for them, God says. But what was Hazrat Yahya doing then? Keeping himself chaste. He was chaste. Back to Ali Imran verse. Abstaining. To such an extent, Hazrat Yahya was abstaining. He was having locusts. What was his food? Read in the Bible. Do I have to tell you? You are telling me this from the stories in the Gospels, yes. Read the story of Yahya in the Gospel and cut my hands off if you find that Hazrat Yahya didn't abstain from women. This is a form of monasticism, sir. Sorry, excuse me, I'm cracking up here. And there God is saying they invented it. We did not prescribe it for themselves. When Hazrat Yahya himself is practicing monasticism, a part of it, much of it. Although he indulged in the word telling King Herod that the wife you have, you've sinned. Monkhood, but there's a part, you see, this part of monasticism. Oh yes, let me also show you monasticism, this part, where they abstain so much that they don't even get married. Celibacy, ascetics. This communal monastic lifestyle grew out of lifestyle of earlier sects of wandering ascetics. Buddha. Okay, let's see. Monasteries, and they don't marry. The Christian monk embraces the monastic life as a vocation from God. His objective is to imitate the life of Christ as far as possible in preparation for attaining eternal life after death. Because Christ practiced it. Monasticism in Christianity, which provides the origins of the words monk and monastery, comprises several diverse forms of religious living. It begins to develop early in the history of the church, but it's not mentioned in the scriptures. It is not mentioned in their scriptures. It has come to be regulated by religious rules. Yes, so they invented it, you would say, for themselves. God did not prescribe for them. But I challenge this also. There are some things which are implied, like it is implied in the Quran. What? What was implied in the Quran? Verses, some of the verses. Oh my God. It's not stated like directly, but it is implied. Yes, do you agree there are certain things implied in the Quran ayats? Not stated directly, but implied. What is implied in the Quran ayats? What did Dr. Khalil Andani say? I can't remember right now. But there are some things Shias take which are implied in the Quran, which the Sunnis then give them a slap on the face. For example, like metaphorically, saying, no, you Rafidis and you Kafirs and you Mushriks. Mushriks, what is implied? That you can take Imam Ali, you can take Rasulullah before Imam Ali as what? Okay, it's not mentioned. This monasticism which they invented, right? It goes with the Quran ayats. Living a monastic life. Nuns, religious sisters, or rarely canonesses, while monastic men are called monks, friars, or brothers. Hermit monks. I even challenged this Christian thing on Wikipedia, that it wasn't regulated religious rules. In modern times, the church law of the respective apostolic Christian churches that have forms of monastic living comprise several, but it's not mentioned. Oh, up here, sorry. History of the church, but it is not mentioned in the scriptures. It's not mentioned, but one of the prophets of God, it is mentioned indirectly, implying that he practiced monasticism. A part of it by abstaining from women altogether, not even having a wife. Not even having a wife. Taking a woman in wedlock. So this part, let me show you another way. if it comes this way. Not having a wife. Oh, the term monasticism implies, you see, it implies. That's what I've been saying. Doesn't say directly, but implies indirectly. Celibacy, or living alone in the sense of lacking a spouse, which became a socially and historically crucial feature of the monastic life. Thank you, Britannica.com. Salahuddin, Sir Salahuddin. It implies. This is what I've been screaming out loud. Part of monasticism. Celibacy is a part of monasticism which Hazrat Yahya practiced. And we are told this in the Quran ayat. Right? We are told this in the Quran ayat in Al Imran verse 39. Abstaining. It means your own translators, if they were wrong, okay. But how wrong can they be? Because the word abstaining is used, or the word chaste is used here. Wahasuran. As an Arab, who will help me find this, the meaning of this word? Wahasuran, and. Wa is and. Hasuran is either abstaining or chaste, and they've put chaste in word by word. Translation, English translation to the ayat. But the different translators, abstaining, utterly chaste. Chaste. Okay? And when you search out this ayat, let's see how many translations. Let me show you one more translation. Maybe it will come like this if I search it. Oh, God. Abstaining women, utterly chaste. Chaste. You see, monasticism implies celibacy, which Hazrat Yahya, the Prophet of Islam, I mean, before a Muslim Prophet, because he's called the Prophet here, abstaining from sexual activities. Where I find this in my, wait a minute, sorry, I have to, in this other searching Google, search Chrome. I think I've saved it here. Al Imran. Whose translation is this? Oh, I reached a lot. Let me see. I went down in Al Imran to 86 or something here. Let's go back. Here it is. Do you see it? Oh, it's not in Quran.com. But we have Mujahid said that Sayyidin Sayyidan means honored by Allah. Hasur and chaste does not mean he refrained. Oh, let's see. Now you have your. Oh, you. It does not mean he refrained from sexual activities from women. God knows. Let's see. What is? Abstaining from women. Of course it means this. Utterly chaste, Allah Maududi. Abul Allah Maududi. Noble, continent. It means noble. Always refraining from women. Ahmad Raza Khan translation. Okay, I'm back on. I'm coming. Oh God, it's slow. My tab. I'm coming to the live chat. You see? Ahmad Raza Khan translation. A leader, always refraining from women. A prophet from one of our devoted ones. Kulli Karai. Chaste. Perfectly chaste. Utterly chaste. Restricting himself, chaste. Always refraining from women. Faridul Haq translation of this ayat. Chaste, a chaste one. Keeping Hilali and Khan, noble, keeping away from sexual relations with women. Do you see this now? This is your own translators, Muslim translators. Monasticism implies that, and when monasticism is mentioned in the Quran ayat Surah Haqqa, it is said that the Christians invented it. God had not prescribed it for them, but the Christians invented it and made it for themselves. God did not prescribe it. But then how could he prescribe it for this Prophet Yahya? If Yahya practiced it, which he did, so if it should be allowed, right? To whatever extent you want to go to Allah. If you want to become a monk, you can become a monk. Follow the Yahya way, Prophet Yahya way. But you see, even your Allah, fasting nights when the polities were refraining, abstaining from their women, then Allah allow it. Why? Allah had not allowed it before also. So look at that ayat, right? About fasting and going into women on the preceding nights of fasting. Allah changed the law. Allah changed the law. Changed your law. The law that was there before. They were deceiving themselves. Oh God. Could thee grant me from what this? There did Zakaria pray. It is not a full translation. The angels are chaste and the prophet. How many times chaste? Translation, sorry, excuse me. The word. He will become a chaste, noble leader and one of the righteous prophets. He will be a master and chaste, a prophet from the righteous. Hasuran, Sayyidan and Hasuran, a prophet from among the righteous. He doesn't translate it in English. Safiur Rahman al-Mubarak Puri. Wahiyuddin Khan, outstanding among men and utterly chaste. This part of monasticism. Prophet himself is practicing, one prophet here, we are told. Because Jesus, I cannot give you, it's not given direct, that chaste. Okay, brother, I have to go now. What just happened? No. Someone putting on us prayer? No, something. Huh? Oh, today is Friday. Someone is not, my head is not. Oh, I have to go. Is it Friday today? Oh, the sermon start. My sermon ended now. Here, sermon end. My sermon end, let the other sermon start. Happy Friday to you, Muslim Mubarak. Friday Mubarak. Thank you so much.